I'm Cheryl Burke, and you probably know me from a little dance show called Dancing with the Stars. What you don't know is that I have been in and out of therapy for basically my entire life. I've been sober for 3 years now, and I have an amazing new obsession that I use to help process my feelings, diamond painting. And I want to share my new obsession with my celebrity friends while trading stories you've never heard before. This is Diving Deep.
I am Kelly Mealy. I've been an entrepreneur since I can remember, since I can hustle at the age of 12. The issue that's most important to me right now is fighting against Asian hate crimes and how we can all come together against hate.
Hi, beautiful. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing good.
You look so fresh and
Thank
so
you.
like rested. Let's talk about Bling Empire and just like how important it is to you, why you created it, and congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
And the show's been successful, so tell us a little more about it.
Well, I'm just really grateful how well the show is doing, just because, you know, we have such a lack in Asian representation in mass media. And, you know, I think with the success of Crazy Rich Asians and Fresh Off the Boat, you know, I'm just really grateful that Netflix gave us a chance. And it's, you know, the first all-Asian cast reality show.
That is amazing.
In a major network. It is insane. And I hopefully, like, with the success of it, more Asian-led shows will be greenlit.
And why haven't you cast me? I'm just wondering, because I'm also Asian American.
I can't afford you, man. You're too expensive. Do you know how much reality show pays?
Okay, so me and you have been very much like an advocate, I guess, for AAPI and like all the horrendous stuff that's been happening as far as like violence goes and attacking the elderly. And has your family, I guess, or anyone close to you have been affected by what has been going on or what is still going on?
You know, it's such a hard topic to talk about just because it's something that is very close to my heart as is to yours. Fortunately, my mom, my grandma has not personally experienced Asian hate crimes, but it freaks me out a lot. Like during a time when it was going really bad, I was calling her. If she doesn't pick up, I get a little freaked out. And same thing when she calls me, because you just don't know. And she lives in Chinatown. And also I'm very outspoken about this, where my mom was on the show, you know, publicly, they know that she lives in Chinatown, Chicago.
Right.
So, you know, it's very scary. I, however, has experienced a little bit of Asian hate crime. I was walking with a girlfriend over to the Grove. We're like outside on 3rd Street, and I was walking my dog, and this guy was on his bicycle. He rolled by, and he was like, "You Asian horse are dirtier than that dog." And I was like, it was kind of very shocking, and I was like, wait, did that just happen? Was he talking to us? And then it was like so quick that you're like, never. That was so quick. I was just like kind of froze
shocked,
a little bit. So it's pretty crazy.
How did you react like afterwards? Like, similar story.
Yeah, I don't know. At first I was kind of like
in denial a little bit.
Maybe he wasn't talking to us. I just want to brush it off. That's the first thing I want to do is brush it off, because I'm just so accustomed to brushing things off.
Right.
And then I'm like, and I was like, no, that was an Asian hate crime.
Yeah.
And it's
what did your friend say?
She was in shock. She was kind of really quiet. She was in shock, and I was like,
is she also Asian?
She's also Asian, and you know, it took a little bit of process, and I felt kind of a little angry, but at the same time, I was like, what's going on in his life?
Yeah.
That he's so unhappy that he had to reject this kind of hate and discrimination.
You weren't bothering him. Like, you were just minding your own business.
Yeah.
So, yeah, my mom, she lives in the Bay Area, right? So that's where I'm from. And there's lots of Filipinos and Asian Americans in that community when it comes to like Daly City, Pacifica, downtown San Francisco. And I freak out every time, because whenever she calls me, it's like, you know, she's been dealing with her anxiety for the first time ever in her life.
Right.
And so but sometimes I just think, like, my brain goes, like, did you get hurt? Like, what happened? Like, I never thought I'd have to think about that. How do you, like, how about with your mom? Is she aware of what's happening? Because my mom wasn't even really aware.
She's aware, and it's very scary, because even when she's, you know, because like Chinatown in Chicago, you can walk around. It's a very walkable city where, you know, when she goes to the grocery store, I'm like, are you sure? Can you just call delivery? Like, she wants to walk to the bank. I'm like, try not to go to the bank, because those mass shootings, you just don't know. You're in the wrong place, wrong time, and there's nothing you can do.
And they're attacking the most vulnerable.
Yeah. So, you know, so simple things like daily activity, I get freaked out. You know, I'm like, don't leave the house, you know.
And like you're constantly in that fight or flight, like looking over your shoulder.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've experienced discrimination in the workplace, or how are your feelings, I guess, as far as like the entertainment industry and being of color?
Yeah, I've always been in male-dominated industries, from finance to restaurant, food and beverage, to startup, and to, you know, entertainment. So I think, you know, sometimes people can't help it and they don't mean it, but they do look at you a certain way when they look at you, you're Asian female, and they project how they think like a different version of you. You know, I've never imagined being in front of camera. I've always been behind. I'm good behind the camera, and now.
How has it been for your mental health?
It's been okay, because I definitely, if I did this earlier, I think like in my 20s, I don't think I would have been able to handle it, or in my teens even.
Handle what though? For
the
people
pressure,
who don't know.
of you know, every move, you're getting judged, and my relationship was full on display. Mostly the bad, right? Like we didn't cover too much of the good part of my relationship.
Do you think it was the cause of your breakup?
No, I think it really helped. To be honest, I think. For me, I'm grateful for the show. My first therapy session was on the show. I've never been to therapy before. I've heard about therapy, but experience for the first time on camera. And after the show wrapped, I continued to go to therapy, and now it's a huge part of my life. And I could not imagine my life without it.
Yeah.
And then
what took you so long to get into therapy?
It was never taught in our culture.
No, I know.
And for me, like, it was just such a black hole. It's a mystery thing. I didn't know what to expect. And
what did you hear about? Like, what was the stigma behind therapy?
Well, first thing, I think, you know, when you think about therapy or mental health, those terms, it means something's wrong with you.
Like you're mental.
Yeah, something's really wrong with you. Yeah. So, you know, and I'm always like, nothing's wrong with me. Like, well, what do you mean? Not, you know. So it was a little bit of that, and also for me, I'm like, what does therapists just talk to you? I'm like, I talk to my friends.
Right.
I talk to, you know, my mom. You know, it's free. I don't need to pay for that. You know. Right. So I didn't really get it, and then afterwards, I'm like, oh, that's the reason why these people have degrees. You know.
Right. And that's why, and the reason why you don't want to talk to your family or people that may have a biased opinion. What is the difference that you see now with yourself compared to before therapy? How many years has it been, or has it been a year?
It's only been, it's been a year.
Okay.
Awareness, yeah. So much awareness, because things are starting to make sense. Like
putting the pieces
together, everything's connecting. You know, it's so crazy, everything linked to your childhood.
Yeah.
So crazy.
No, everything.
Yeah.
And then that's linked to the way you were raised and your parent or whoever raised you.
Yeah.
And then that's linked to their parents
and
the way
so
that was
crazy.
raised. They say it takes like 3 to 4 generations to actually change a personality trait.
Wow.
Like whether that be whatever, if you're super controlling, like it's gonna take that time being conscious about it first.
Yeah.
And then 3 more generations.
Yeah, it is so interesting, because
Yeah.
before, when I used to feel a certain thing, I'm like, well, just the way I am. Like, I don't really, now I'm questioning, hey, and I try to talk myself through it. Hey, why am I feeling this way? Is this a negative core belief that's not real? You know,
right?
So
that's good that your awareness is a big deal.
Yeah, I'm still at the very beginning, and I'm really excited to kind of keep going and discovering more about myself.
Like what? Like what is it? What is it now that you're so aware of that you wish you were aware of maybe in your 20s?
I'm insecure in a way. I feel I always overgive, because I feel like I'm not enough.
People pleaser?
I'm a people pleaser, and I like to sugarcoat everything. And I overcompensate, because I feel like, because you know how in the Asian culture, your parents like is always comparing you to like
you think?
their friends'
I get long
parents.
emails about why my costume didn't look good on my body.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
That's not
okay. This time in pain.
It's just like, you know, like if you get a 90 on a test, even though it's an A, your parents are like, why did you get 100? I'm like, it's the same thing, but. So you always feel like you're not good enough, and then also another thing is that I didn't realize this, but I have abandonment issues because of my dad.
Amen.
Really?
Preach.
Yeah.
Yep.
My dad left when I was a little bit older, when I was about like 10 years old, you know, but still dad, like I feel like I have to, especially when I date, I feel like I have to overgive to keep somebody. And I'm like, why do I need to do that? I'm a catch.
Yeah,
like if you don't want to chase after me, goodbye. Or if you don't want to put effort, goodbye. You know, like.
But your intellectual brain knows that, but like inside there's a void.
Yeah, like it's funny because I tend to like, first of all, I'm really, really picky when it comes to dating. But then when I like somebody, I overdo it, where I will do everything for them.
What's your perfect man then, if you're so picky? Tell me.
I just want someone kind and grounded and just humble.
And rich.
successful. Like my level. Here's the thing. I've never thought money was an issue.
No.
Like I've always been like, that's not a big deal. I can make my own money. I don't mind, like whatever. But it doesn't work. After my last relationship, it just doesn't
What
work.
happened in your last relationship?
You know, I feel like I carried a relationship a lot financially.
So you were the breadwinner.
Yes. It's even saying this right now, I feel really guilty to say that. But also at the same time, you know, for men, I feel like, you know, even if you're okay with it, the man's not going to be okay with it. The man feels like, they feel like, you know.
They have been,
emasculated. So I realized I just want somebody who can offer me the same thing. I just want a nice,
So you
normal
want, like,
person.
Right.
Yeah.
And not in the business?
Probably prefer not in this. I haven't had the best experience with men in the business, but you know,
Right.
never say never in a sense. But I prefer not
Justin
to.
Bieber says.
And hopefully somebody who, want to have kids and you know want to have a family.
You
And
do? How old
I
are
do.
you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 35.
Okay, so you want to have like kids like naturally and like how many?
I want to have naturally at least one. I froze my eggs last year
Good for
during
you. How
COVID.
how was that?
It was.
I'm thinking of. I haven't done it yet.
Oh my god, you need to do it.
But my
You need to do it.
hormones, I'm scared. And I'm on birth control and my body's codependent on it.
I love that I have an option. It's an insurance
no,
that
100%. I wish
you know,
I could have I wish I could do that.
You know what? Just do it, because you're gonna do it once. Just do it once.
And you had healthy eggs?
I had healthy eggs. I think they took like 21 out.
Wow.
And I think like 14 or something more mature.
Were you on birth control?
No, I've never been on birth control.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
So you are okay with possibly having a baby without having a partner, I guess, or you're not? You want to wait?
Oh my gosh, I think about this. You just bring all my anxiety
Sorry.
back up. Like I feel like I'm
Diamond paint, it'll help.
Okay. Let's.
Yeah, let's get into a good flow and rhythm.
Okay,
Then
okay.
You'll be like
All right.
diarrhea of the mouth. Wash.
Okay, all right. You know, I really thought about this, and I really want to be a mother. I don't want to give that up.
Is it the pressure of society, of your mother? There's a lot of pressure, but like if you ask me, like what I truly want, I don't mind having a surrogate. I don't mind adopting, but I think my opinion may change due to what society expects from women today.
Yeah, but you can't live because of society. You know, you have to live for
I know
you.
that,
and you're,
but it's hard, right?
Yeah, it is hard.
So my point is, like, if you were to strip all of that, like, what does Kelly want?
I want to go through naturally for me, at least the first kid. I want to, because I want to go through experience. For me, life is about experiences. And I feel like being pregnant or being a mother, you can't replace that with anything else. You know, so for me, I do want to go through that at least once. And then, you know, later on, the second or third surrogate, sure. You know, I'm not opposed to it at all.
You say that life is all about experiences. So, like, what are, like, name your topics, like 1 to 2 things that you've experienced that has been something that you'll never forget?
Well, even playing Empire.
Totally.
And being here with you. It's such a, you know, because it's memories. These are memories. And
it's experiences.
That's what life's about, you know. So it's these things has changed, like, you know, playing Empire has changed my life. It really has.
How?
It has. You know, I thought my life was always behind a camera and producing and doing that thing. I thought that was going to be the rest of my life. Where now, you know, in front of camera is a whole other thing.
And what does your mom think of you being a part of Playing Empire? Because I'm sure we both have basically the same mother.
I don't think my mom like knew what was going on half the time. Like when she came to visit me.
Well, she's in it, you said.
Well, yeah, she's in it. When she first came to visit me, I was like, oh mom, we're shooting this show. Will you come on it?
Yeah.
And then she's like, sure. She's like, what should I bring people at your work? Should I bring them some dumplings? And she's like, start wanting to make them food. I was like, there's a whole thing.
Over here.
Yeah, I'm gonna send her over here.
Yeah.
She will love it.
Seriously.
And then, you know, when she filmed the show, you know, King was like telling her, she's like, do you know this is gonna be on Netflix? And she's like, what?
What's Netflix?
Yeah, I got her Netflix set up in 2020 in August. She's never
used it.
Never had Netflix. She watches a Chinese TV and she's happy with it.
That's so
she just
cute.
plays like all day long. She's like, it's her own world. And then
Does she still have a VHS tape?
no. They have this
My mom does still.
Yeah. Okay. No, my mom doesn't.
What do you find, like, with my mom? All I think I've ever wanted as a little girl, even though she was working and I barely saw her, to be quite honest, but like all I ever wanted is her acceptance, right? Like, and I find that, you know, with the maybe Asian American culture, or Asian, because my mom's first generation, it's vulnerability for me. It wasn't courage. It was quite the opposite. It was weakness, right? So like you know, crying was a bad thing. showing any type of like, be confident but be humble.
Yeah.
Like, there's a fine line. Like, don't be too outspoken. Be quiet.
Yep. Yep.
And don't have an opinion.
Yep. Absolutely.
Was it kind of similar?
Absolutely, everything's the same. And that's what I actually have to really think my last relationship was, that he made me more vulnerable and more open. He kept saying, "You're so closed off." I'm like, "What do you mean?"
Your
I'm
last
closed
relationship,
off?
the one you had on television?
Yes.
Okay.
I was like, "What do you mean? I'm not closed off." And then I remember crying for the first time in front of him, and I was embarrassed, and I almost want to hide it. He's like, "It's okay to cry." He's like, "It's a human emotion.
Yes.
Nothing's wrong with
it's
that."
It's like laughing. Like,
He's
why isn't it
yeah,
accepted?
he's like, "There's nothing wrong with it." It's such a simple concept, but there's a light bulb that went on my head. I'm like, "Oh wait, it is like, why do I have to feel embarrassed about it?" But we were always taught that way, though.
Yeah.
You know, so
And I'm still. By the way, though, my natural reaction is not to cry. I still don't want to. Like, I'll never cry in front of the camera. I think it's so important though, because it makes you so attainable and just human.
I love crying now. By the way,
Do you cry in front of your mom?
I've only cried in front of my mom once. It was
Did she like stop it?
when it was my dad. After he left, he only wrote me one letter, and my mom read that letter to me in Chinese. And I remember we're in the car outside a park, and I cried, and it was the first time I cried in front of her, and I felt really embarrassed too. And I was like 12 years old, or like 11 years old, and but I still remember I had felt shamed, and then I felt like I was embarrassed. Yeah, that was it. And the rest of it, I just,
What happened? So your mom and dad divorced?
So when my mom is a super mom,
yeah.
where when she first moved out to the U.S., she wanted me to have a better education and more opportunities. She did anti-cancer research, and then she worked 2 other jobs. My dad and my whole family are doctors, and they're very high positioned in China. When my dad came, and he had to wash carpets, and he just was not, his ego, and he went back to China. He told me he was going to come back, and he never did. And he ended up finding another wife.
Were they abandoned issues?
Yeah, who's a nurse, because my mom always did better than him career wise. So he found somebody who's like below him, where he felt more manly, and literally like I never blamed him. I was always kind of like, well, that's just the way it is, and I'm sure it happened for a reason. Until literally probably a year or 2 years ago when I started going to therapy, I was like, no, let's just call it as it. He was weak.
Issues.
No, he was weak.
Yeah.
He was not a man. He didn't stay
You're
here.
right, you're right.
He could have stayed here with his family and fought for it, and we can still be together. But he wanted to take the easy way out, And I didn't voice that and admit that to myself until really recently.
That's okay.
Yeah.
And you feel like free of it in a way? Or do you have resentment towards him?
No, I don't have resentment towards him, because it's just, it's happened for so long. I wish him the best. But I just, I reached out.
Alive, right?
He's still alive.
Yeah.
I reached out to him. We saw each other about 10 years ago. But how do you catch up? Like another 10 years of lost, relationship.
But do you want to catch up?
I don't.
You want to have a relationship?
No, because what's the point? Because he wrote me one letter since he left. He
Yeah.
didn't pay a single dollar for for child support. Like,
Do you forgive him though?
I forgive him.
Yeah, you just don't want a relationship with
No,
him.
I forgive him, but I think he was a weak man.
Yeah. And did your mom remarry?
No, she never did.
Okay. And are you the only child?
I'm the only child. My mom had this thing where she's was scared about stepdads, and
Why?
she heard horrible stories and stuff like that, and she was. I mean, I didn't notice at the time. I would have encouraged her more, but I think she kind of lost a lot of faith when it comes to
love.
after my dad and love. She did meet. only remember her dating one person, and they dated for a little bit, and then he had a son who was 16. I was 14 at the time, and the son liked me. And then she broke that
That
up
got
really
weird.
quick. Yeah, she broke that stuff up really quick.
Oh wow. Okay, so you guys are all friends on the show.
Yes.
Any romantic connections now that you're single, ready to mingle, Kelly?
Tell
me the truth.
No, on the show, no.
Yeah, there's something going on with you and that guy.
Kevin?
The guy that's adopted.
Yeah, no. No, definitely not Kevin.
But what do you want in life? Like, what
In life,
do you want?
I want to be in a loving relationship with
What do you
somebody
want
for the
for
rest
you?
of my life.
Like, for you,
Just
like
a partner.
you want a partner.
I want a partner that I can be my best friend and grow old with. I want to die holding that person's hand.
Like this, or
Like,
with your mouth open or closed?
and drooling.
Like I'm drooling,
yeah,
yes. But like I'm
know?
drooling, you're drooling. Get it?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's it.
With
And-
rhinestones on your cute outfit.
Exactly.
Totally.
And all like bedazzled.
How do you process the whole like crime against, you know, our community, Asian American community,
Oh,
and
yeah.
Pacific Islander? Can't forget them.
Yeah, no, it's I'm getting better at processing them because sometimes, you know, at the beginning when the Asian hate crimes started, because first of all, Asian hate crimes is not recent. It's always been going on, but recently, you know, there's a lot more of it. My first one I saw was last July when the old grandma got set on fire in Brooklyn. I felt so angry. So angry.
Totally.
And
I've lost sleep for sure.
you know, I was crying, I felt so angry, and I felt really helpless.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, I want to do something. Like, what can we do? But I think for me right now, it's having a community to talk to, having friends like you that I can call and talk to, and process the feeling with me.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we're stronger together, and we can make a difference together.
Amen, sister.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, with all 5 rhinestones you put on your canvas,
Oh my gosh,
how do you like it so far?
I feel pressured,
I think,
man.
I think we need, this time, no lashes, no jumpsuits, PJs, and bare face and diamond painting.
Deal. Like,
No cameras.
okay, deal.
Okay.
No, I'm so into this. I'm so into this. Can I bring this home?
Yeah, obviously, I'll give you a to-go bag, but if you
Okay.
really want to get down and dirty, I'll just give you one big old canvas.
I would love to do that next time. I seriously would. This
Okay.
is so addicting.
It is
So-
very therapeutic. Thank you. I love
course,
you.
I love
Thanks
you
for
too.
opening up.